Okay, so here we are live. It is Monday. It is February the 5th. February the 5th. It is 6:03 p.m. and we are unboxing DC Multiverse Nightwing from Titans. And here is some of the cross-sell artwork on the back. Got Nightwing himself, Donna Troy, aka Wonder Girl, but they usually just call her Donna Troy these days. Raven and Speedy. Now, this is one that I was really worried I wasn't going to be able to find, because anytime I looked for him on Amazon, he was just selling for crazy prices, and more than I want to pay for a single action figure. So, when I ran across him at Walmart, I was really excited. And I'm like, well, I have to buy him now because I keep looking for him online and he keeps being like way too expensive to buy. So we've already been over these Mcfarlane boxes before. I don't need to talk about the Mcfarlane boxes anymore. I mean, what you see is what you get. It's a rather plain design. When we already looked at the cross-sell artwork, and Beast Boy is the Build-A-Figure. It's going to be a colossal Beast Boy. So that's the artwork they had for him on the back. Let's go ahead and open him up. And this thing just came out by itself. But that's fine. Unfortunately, the stand and the card are on two separate bubbles. And you know I don't like that. But fortunately, there was not actually very much glue holding that on this time. So I was able to get that off rather easily. And there is our trading card. And we can see that it is artwork on the trading card, which is unusual. I think that might be Jason Fabok. It might be Ivan Rice. It's good art. I can't really tell who it is since it's like a smaller picture. I don't see a signature on it. There might be one on here somewhere, but I'm not able to see where it is or make it out. But I think the artwork is either Jason Fabok or Ivan Rice, which is, you can't go wrong with those guys. And the trading card, even though I was able to get it off rather easily, trading card is unfortunately a little warped for me. So, oh well. Nightwing, Titans, data file. Real name, Richard Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson began his crime-fighting career as the original Robin, Batman's protege and crime-fighting partner. An expert acrobat and skilled fighter, Dick eventually left the nest and ventured out on his own as a new hero called Nightwing. His trapeze experiences as a circus acrobat and his childhood experiences as a circus acrobat and trapeze artist make him extremely agile. He is a superior fighter and highly skilled martial artist who has been personally trained by Batman. Nightwing is a keen detective, a natural leader, and a strategist with advanced knowledge of a variety of technologies. So yeah, that sums it up pretty well. That's a pretty good bio. After reading like the so-called bio that was on the back of those Batman and Robin trading cards, that was pretty refreshing, wasn't it? So yeah, get an actual bio that's an actual bio. So we'll set that card aside, and let's go ahead and pull this out of the package. Now, I know already that this is not what I was hoping for with this figure. And what I was hoping for with this figure was like just kind of the definitive Nightwing figure that would be like the perfect Nightwing figure, and I'd never need to buy another Nightwing figure again because this one's just too awesome to replace. There are some flaws with this figure, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. But I do think this is a good figure, and I'm glad I picked him up. First of all, here's the Build-A-Figure piece. It's the gigantic torso for the massive Beast Boy that we're getting. So I might wind up buying the other figures in this line since I was able to find Nightwing. I didn't want to buy any of the other ones until I had Nightwing. Nightwing was the one that I wanted the most because as much as I love the Teen Titans, or the Titans, or the new Teen Titans, or whatever you want to call that particular team, I'm first and foremost a Batman fan, so I wanted to have the guy who was connected with my... I wanted him for my Batman family more than I wanted him as a Teen Titans figure. And I did pre-order on Amazon the Nightfall Nightwing, where he's wearing that blue and gold outfit. But, you know, I don't have a problem with that outfit. I think that's a fine costume and everything, but it's not as definitive as this one. This is the one that's kind of become the definitive Nightwing suit. This is the one that, like, when people think of Nightwing, that's the one that automatically pops into their head. Now, it's not my personal favorite Nightwing costume, because it's well known that my favorite Nightwing costume was actually the original one with the high collar, the so-called Disco Elvis Nightwing. That's my favorite, but I'm in the minority on that. And I'm willing to admit that this is the one that's kind of become the quintessential Nightwing costume. When you think of Nightwing, you think of this one. Ah, jeez. These are like really annoying rubber tabs that, like, I'm going to see if I can show this to you once I get this out so you can see how annoying this is. That's why I'm having a hard time with this one. So check this out. These rubber tabs, so there's the rubber tab at the end, you can see. It's got two of these rubber straps attached to it. Two of these little strands of rubber that I have to cut. So once I cut one, I got another one I got to cut, unless I can get them both at the same time. That's very frustrating. It's like they knew it was frustrating for me. You know what? Double it. Like a Mysterio kind of thing. All right, so now we got that. And he's not coming out of there anyway. He's so embedded in this package. Look at that. That's ridiculous. He did not need rubber tabs holding him into this package. That was overkill. That was unnecessary. You don't need to have these rubber tabs holding this guy in this package. He was in there just fine. Why would you do that? It's like they're mocking me. You know, sometimes I joke whenever they do something I said that they ought to do, that, oh, hey, they must be watching my videos and paying attention to me. Well, that's an example of, like, oh, he doesn't like the rubber tabs. Oh, we're gonna get him. Oh, he thinks the rubber tabs are unnecessary to hold the figure in the package. Put that figure like way deep in the package, and we're gonna put double rubber tabs around it. So there's the figure stand. Every figure should come with a figure stand, and Mcfarlane is usually pretty good about that, except for with superpowers. So I wish they were better about that with superpowers. Let's go ahead and put the insert back in there. But yeah, I was happy to find this one at Walmart. I was not buying any of these until I could get Nightwing. And now that I have Nightwing, I might buy the rest of them. I like Speedy an awful lot. Oh, technically it says Arsenal on there, because, you know. But I always call him Speedy, because he's still Speedy to me. So, and the other figures look quite nice. So I can buy those now that I have Nightwing. All right. So let me go ahead and address the big problem with this figure. Now, I'm sure some of you watching who are on the more observant side and are knowledgeable about this character have observed that, and even if you don't know about the character, I'm sure you noticed I didn't take any accessories out of the package. I took out that Beast Boy torso. I took out the action figure stand. I took out the trading card. And I took out Nightwing himself. What did I not take out? I'll give you a second to think about it. Now, if you're familiar with this character, you're going to say you didn't take out his Billy Clubs / I don't even know how to pronounce it, Eskrima sticks. I call them nightsticks. I feel like they missed an opportunity by not calling them nightsticks. So no accessories. And anybody probably noticed I didn't pull out any accessories. But if you're a fan of Nightwing, you know exactly what accessories I'm talking about. It's like Luke Skywalker is going to come with a lightsaber. Captain America is going to come with a shield. Nightwing is going to come with his nightsticks. I'm not letting that go. All right. Now that's enough of a problem in and of itself. But of course, you know, if you're going to have a figure not come with certain accessories, those are actually probably pretty good accessories to not have them come with, because it's pretty easy to make a couple of sticks to hold in his hand. You could cut up some wooden dowels. You could 3D print something like I probably would. You could probably just take something from another figure if you're not using it. Like, say you have an extra bow from a Donatello figure, just kind of cut that in half, and there you go. He's got some sticks. Paint them to match black or blue or silver or whatever color you want them to be, and that's fine. So he has no sticks, which hell, let's go back to the trading card. Trading card shows him holding those clubs. So why doesn't he come with clubs? Seems to me like that would be the most obvious thing in the world. But here's the worst part. Check it out. Not only does he not come with his accessories, but both of his hands are solid fists. So even if you were to make him some clubs or get some clubs from another figure or something like that, he can't hold them. He's got solid fists, can't hold any accessories. Why did you guys do this at Mcfarlane Toys? Like, why did you decide that was an appropriate thing to do? I'm very disappointed that was the decision that you guys made. So phooey on you for that. This could have been the perfect definitive Nightwing figure, and now it's not because of this baffling oversight. But it's still a pretty nice figure, and what I'm probably going to wind up doing is getting some hands off of another Mcfarlane figure. I'm pretty sure I can get like an extra Batman for cheap and just use his hands. And also his hands are like really tiny. Like, I'll get the Batgirl figure over here. And look at the size of their hands in comparison. Like, her hands are way bigger than his. And I know I've heard some people be critical of this figure having hands that were too big. And yeah, maybe they are a little too big, but they weren't like deal-breakingly too big for me. Like, you get weird proportions on these hands sometimes. But yeah. Like next to Robin, next to Tim Drake, he's got little teeny tiny hands. Oh well. We're gonna do some comparisons with those figures later. So I didn't just have them aside to hold on to the hands. So let's look at this figure. And it's got a pretty nice head sculpt. Got some good detailing to it. The hair is a separate piece, so they're able to do things where, like, little bits of his hair are falling in his face. The mask is blue, and he does have, like, some black around the eyes to help the whites of the eyes stand out a little bit more. I usually prefer for Nightwing to have a black mask rather than a blue mask. But I think it works really well on this figure, especially since they have those little 4 locks of hair falling down in his face. It helps him stand out a little bit more to have a blue mask instead of a black mask. So that's cool. The blue is, I think, maybe a little bit bright. Just a little bit. I probably would have gone with a slightly darker shade of blue. Let me look around here. Okay, so I got this Hush Superman here. I think that blue would have been about perfect. That would have been about the blue I would have gone for. That's a nitpick. That's not something that I would actually complain about. It's just like, and I would have done it different if I had done it differently. This is how I would have done it, kind of way. Also, he does have the blue around the edges of the soles, not even the whole sole, just around the edges of the sole, and that's a nice little detail there. So that's pretty cool. And the blue does go all the way down his arms and all the way down to his fingertips, or at least, where we would see his fingertips if he didn't have his hands balled up in solid fists that can't hold weapons. So yeah, I'm not letting that go. The physique of the figure is about what I would expect of Nightwing. He's rather lean and muscular, not overly muscle bound. Like we read on the trading card, he's an acrobat, so he's got to be, lithe and athletic and everything. This is not a reuse of the new generic body that they made, although I would have forgiven that, and I would have felt like that would be an appropriate use of of this body. I feel like this would be a good build for Nightwing. Also, I believe that they're using this one on the Nightfall Nightwing that I was talking about earlier, but he's actually a little leaner than even the Riddler because of that. So, like I said, when I reviewed this Riddler figure, I kind of feel like the Riddler should be like just a little bit more skinny than this, but that would be a good build for Nightwing. This would actually be, I think, a little more appropriate for the Riddler, honestly, if I'm being real about it. So, but it is, I think, a good Nightwing figure. There is some sculpted detail on the pelvis that I noticed, which is almost like a belt kind of design. It goes all the way around the back. If they were going to make an Earth 2 Robin, like they could probably reuse that pelvis, I think. So maybe, I don't know. But yeah. And he does have some detailing at the tops of the boots. So he's got like little short boots. Kind of takes us back to his days as Robin, where he had those little elf booties. So all right, so let's look at the articulation some. Head can look down about that far. So that's a good range of motion as far as looking down. Head can look up about that far, which I'm a little surprised that we get this nice range of motion out of it, since he's got kind of a little bit of longish hair in the back, not as long as we often see Nightwing with, not the mullet. He doesn't have the mullet, but it does kind of hang off the back of the head there a little bit, and it doesn't really impede. I guess he could look up even higher if he didn't have that. So maybe it does impede the articulation a little bit, but not by much. And it's still like a good range of articulation. So good on him for that. He does have the butterfly joints, which means he can move his arms forward like that and backwards like that. Now, unfortunately, like I was saying about Chris O'Donnell Robin, just the design of it, the design of the suit with that Nightwing emblem, it does kind of, the butterfly joint does kind of interfere with that design. But it's interesting to notice that they took the opposite route in how they were going to solve this. Like I said, mainly if you're going to do something like this, you're stuck with really one of two options. Is we can make the butterfly joint the color of his emblem, or you can make the butterfly joint the color of the rest of his suit. And in this one, they chose to go with the emblem, and in this one, they chose to go with the rest of the suit. So you can see how each has its own advantages and drawbacks. Like this guy's now got a red stripe that goes under his armpit, which is not accurate to the movie. But this guy now has a big space in between the bird on his chest and the blue stripe on his shoulder, which again is not accurate. But if we get it posed like this, well, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? So it's a give and take. It's there's pros and cons to each one. So and if you look at him from the back now he's got that. But if we tilt it back that way, it's still it doesn't quite connect in the back. And I think that's really more because of how they painted his shoulder than the actual articulation there. So that's more because of the shoulder than the butterfly joint. That's just my opinion. So maybe if I turned his arm all the way back, yeah. And some people might want to have Nightwing posed on their shelf like this for reasons. They do like to show him off. That's all I'm saying. All right, so the arms, of course, rotate all the way around at the shoulder, and there's a bicep cut, so the arms rotate all the way around at the bicep. We do have the double jointed elbows, and it is an excellent range of articulation on those elbows. You could probably get some really cool poses of him, like, wielding his nightsticks, if he could hold his nightsticks that he did not come with. So arms go up about that far. That's a good range of motion on that. And they go down about that far. And the butterfly joints are really showing off their skill there. So you can get them actually further down even than I got them. They kind of ran into his lats a little bit. But yeah, so you can get some good range of motion out of those arms. He does have the typical Mcfarlane torso articulation, so we can get like a lot of really good poses out of that torso. You know, lots of good dynamic poses as far as like that goes. So that's good. Legs go up. Not very far at all, actually. That's disappointing. So, and it is that rubber trunk piece that's kind of impeding it a little bit. So they probably could have given him a little more space here where the trunks meet the thighs. That probably would have helped out. And double jointed elbows, of course, or I'm sorry, double jointed knees. Sorry, going backwards. So good range of motion there. There's no boot cut, but we do have the cool Mcfarlane ankles, the kind of ball jointy ankles that can move any which way, and the toe articulation because they want to show off. So, and since I neglected to mention it earlier, he does have the ball joints at the wrists. So we can move his wrists around in any which way we want, which would be really helpful if he had open hands that could hold his nightsticks. Very disappointing that. This would have been an easy layup of a 10 out of 10 action figure if they had have given him open hands and had him come with billy clubs. I would have zero complaints about this figure. Every complaint I would have would be just like the most minor of nitpick, and I would be coming away from this being like, guys, you got to get this Nightwing figure. It's worth paying the extra money on Amazon if you can't find it. But I can't honestly say that now because, you know, he's missing some important components that would have made this figure the perfect Nightwing figure. As it is, it's just like a really good Nightwing figure that's just annoyingly on the edge of the cusp of being greatness, but it's not quite greatness just because of that. That kind of casts the pall on it. This figure is now a 9 out of 10. But it could have been a 10 out of 10 very easily. So since I've got all these other Batman figures over here, we can do some comparisons. So here he is with Batman. So there we go. That's the Nightfall Batman. My personal favorite Batman, that kind of Bronze Age look of Batman with the blue and the gray. So see them together. And with his fellow Robin, Tim Drake. So there's that. And here he is with Batgirl. So you can see those two together. And again, we'll have another shot of him with his movie counterpart, who is allegedly Robin, but wearing a suit that looks much more like the Nightwing suit. So there's that. Oh, and one other thing that I guess we can look at that I haven't opened it up yet, but here's a sneak preview of an upcoming episode. Is I do have Damian Wayne, vampire Damian Wayne, and so we can see Nightwing with that particular version of Robin. And of course, when Dick was filling in the role of Batman, Damian was his Robin, so it makes sense to see both of them together. So I'll be opening him sometime soon. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So anyhow, this figure is still going to get a recommend from me. It's still a pretty good figure, especially if you can swap out his hands. If you have some hands you can easily swap out. And I'd have to match the color of paint on the hands or just do without the stripes on the hands. I don't think it's really that big a deal one way or the other, but you know, some of you might be a little more a little less forgiving about Nightwing not having the stripes on his hands. So, but it's still a good figure, and I'm still happy to have it, especially since I didn't have to wind up paying a premium price for it. I did pay retail price for him at Walmart, so that's good. And I will have to try to get the rest of these figures now. So that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you like and subscribe and all that fun YouTube stuff down below. Hit the little bell if you want to be warned anytime that I'm going live and I'm going to talk about more of these figures. So I've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. I've when I did the Manny Faces review the other day, I teased that I had another Masterverse figure that I bought at the same time, and there was a third one that I had to pass on because I didn't want to spend too much money at that time. But I've since been paid, and I was able to get back and pick up the third figure that I wanted. So got 2 more Masterverse figures on the way. Still got plenty of G.I. Joe figures to open because I've got some other ones left over from Christmas that I haven't gotten around to yet, and that should be fun. I've got a lot more cool stuff on the way. Of course, there's a whole bunch of G.I. Joe Classified that I've got pre-ordered on Amazon that I wasn't really expecting until April, but apparently one of them is going to be shipping this week, and probably would have already shipped if I hadn't have had to change my shipping address. So so got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So make sure that you like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any of that stuff. So that's pretty much it for this episode, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.